All right, welcome back. This is the Farm Kenya show, and of course on the last Monday of this month. And if you are just joining us, we will be discussing a very crucial topic. Now, that is transforming the donkey welfare in Kenya and the larger East Africa. And to help us to discuss this, we have very important guests in studio with us today. And first of all, we have Dr. Benson Kibore, who is the Executive Director, Farming Systems Kenya, and the National Chairperson of the Union of Veterinary Practitioners in Kenya. He has been heavily involved agitating for veterinary practitioners' welfare as well as animal welfare, including the donkey welfare, of course, what we are discussing today. He is also well grounded on veterinary public health policy and One Health, having served as Chief Officer for Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperatives, and also as Chair of the Union. And through his professional network, his experience is key in combating the donkey bush slaughter and overseeing the implementation of the government rapid response initiative right here in Kenya. That is our first guest. And also we're going to look at our second guest, who is Elijah Mithigi. He is the programs manager at Brook East Africa. Now, since joining Brook in 2013, Elijah has built and headed the East Africa Region Office's program department, which provides technical capacity building and also program quality assurance to Brook East Africa's vast network of 13 implementing partners NGOs in Kenya, that is in Tanzania, South Sudan, and Somalia or Somaliland. He has also served for over 8 years in various humanitarian development programs, management roles with World Vision in Kenya and Food for the Hungry in South Sudan, and holds honors degree in development studies and bachelor's of commerce in, that is, degree. All right, our last but not least guest is Rosemary Njeri Mwangi, who is a farmer in Molo and Nakuru County and is the user of donkeys to sustain her family livelihoods. She uses this to transport milk to the market, potatoes, also fetch water and fetch firewood for household use. Now, when her donkey was stolen in 2018, she was devastated, and her children almost missed going to school, given she is a widow. Now, Rosemary is a great farmer and an inspiration of how donkeys influences and sustains livelihoods at the family level. She is a strong advocate for the protection and welfare of donkeys. She is a donkey champion. All right, that is all we have on our guest panelists. We have, of course, the three guests here. Thank you so much for joining us on Farm Kenya.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So today we are talking about donkey welfare. Yes. First of all, Elijah, let me start with you. When you talk about donkey welfare, what comes to your mind?
Thanks, Ken, for having us. And this is, you know, the donkey story is as old as the creation. I mean, because if for those of us who are scholars of the Bible, the good book, they will tell you about how the animal carried Jesus, you know, before he went for crucifixion. Mm-hmm. How the animal spoke to, the only animal that spoke in the good book to Balaam when he was caning it. Mm-hmm. And say, why are you mistreating me? And much more closer here, the donkey especially is domesticated, was the first domesticated in Africa over 7,000 years ago. Actually, in Kenya specifically. So it's our heritage. It's one animal that is a heritage to Africa. And it's therefore a very, very, very important animal in our society. Only that it has been taken for granted for so long. Mm-hmm. And its welfare neglected to the extent that this animal will carry water to a homestead after walking many kilometers in the very rural, semi-arid areas where women have to trek with this animal for distances, mm-hmm. get home very tired. But the owner, as much as the animal has been very helpful, will first give the other livestock that water. Mm-hmm. So the donkey has to fed for itself. But also the same thing is happening in very high agricultural areas, where the donkey is the one that is used to fetch farm produce, including, you know, Napier grass for the cows, mm-hmm. the dairy cows. Mm-hmm. but rarely fed properly. But we have also seen a lot of mistreatment on this animal, especially by the very owners who whip, you know, if you go to Moya, if you happen to pass through Moya. I like giving the example of Moya because that's where I interacted with, you know, very inhumane mistreatment of the whip. The donkey is overloaded already because it fetches the rice from the rice fields with many bags of 90 kgs, you know, and very, very mistreated, very overburdened, yet whipped. And therefore we said, it's important to talk about this donkey.
Okay.
The good of it, but also how are we treating it?
Yes.
And why are we treating it in that manner? So that's where the conversation starts.
All right, Elijah, thank you so much for that. And of course, everything that you've spoken about, we will really delve into that and look at the economic also importance of this. And Rosemary, first-hand benefit of, can I call it benefit of the donkey? It helps you. It helps you take your produce to the market, and at the end of the day, on this other side, we are also seeing it's not being taken care of the way it's supposed to be taken care of. It has just been left on the side. What do you think about donkey welfare?
Asante kwa sababu ya kunikubali niongee kwa Kiswahili. Na kwanza niseme nilianza kutumia punda 2004. Ndio nilianza kutumia huyo mnyama anaitwa punda. Na nimeona ni mnyama mzuri. Nilianza kufunja kuni naye kutoka msituni. Nilikuwa naenda kilomita almost 3 kilomita na punda. Kwa sababu nilikuwa naenda mbali, unatoka saa 12 unarudi saa 7 ya mchana kama umebeba kuni. Nimesomesha watoto naye. Nilikuwa kuna mtoto polytechnic na nilikuwa kuna mtoto secondary. Huyo polytechnic nilikuwa nawapea kuni. Ndio school fees. Na hiyo wa secondary nauza kuni ndio ilikuwa school fees. Na still ilikuwa inanipea vitu ya jikoni za wamama zile tunataka. Na hata group nilikuwa natoa hizo pesa kwa hiyo punda. Ndio maana napigania hiyo punda. Second, mtoto wangu akamaliza secondary. Alisomea Melu University civil engineering. Hiyo punda ndio ilimsomesha. Nakumbuka ya kwanza siku moja nilikuwa naenda kuni, ameenda kuleta barua, amekosa pesa za kurudi. Nilitoka na kuni nikauza nikamtumia ndio apate fare ya kurudi. Kwa hivyo punda ni mnyama mzuri, amenisaidia na hata saizi ananisaidia. Kwa sababu nikikosa maji ndio anaendaga kunichotea kutoka mtoni. Punda amefanya kazi mzuri. Na 2018 nilibio punda. Siku hiyo sikuwa nimejua farming system. Bado nilikuwa nafanya na punda peke yangu. Na tulikuwa kwa kijiji, unaona. Sasa saa ile nilibiwa punda nilikuwa na kang'ombe. Nilikuwa nauliza Mungu usiku, uliona kweli nilibiwa banki yangu na mzee wangu? Kwa sababu punda nilikuwa nasema ni mzee yangu. Kwa sababu ndio nilikuwa natoa mahitaji yake popote. Nililia miezi 3 months kama kwa sababu singepata pesa zingine za haraka za kununua punda. Na hizo punda, hizo punda ilikuwa kwa rahisi. Hizi punda ni more than 5k. Siku hiyo hata ukiwa na 1000 unanunua punda. Lakini siku hiyo hata kupata 1000 ilikuwa kwa shida. Kwa sababu umeibiwa, ndio mzee wako, ndio nini, kila kitu. Sasa unaona ungekuwa na shida. Hiyo 1000 labda uende kibarua. Na siku hiyo kibarua ilikuwa nalipo 50 shillings. Ebu imagine una watoto wako shule, utajaza siku gani ya punda? But kwa bahati mzuri tulikuwa kuna watu neighbors wanakukondesha hiyo punda, unaenda siku 3 unafuja kuni ya 4 unampatia. Baka hivyo tukarudisha punda. Sasa kutoka hapo nilirudi nikanunua punda. Nikasomesha mtoto baka university, amemaliza sasa ako na 3 years kutoka atoke university. Kama ako university first year ndio nilikutana na farming system. Walikuwa natembea kwa huko kwetu kwa kijiji wakiangalia punda. Tukaongea na madam anaitwa Purity. katuambia tu organize a group na turegister. Na tukafanya hivyo. Sasa akawa akikuja kututembelea, akawa anakuja anatufundisha, wanatuletea walimu. Farming system ni wazuri sana. Wanatuletea walimu wa finance, wanatuletea walimu wa kusomesha habari ya punda, kukata makwato, mpaka wanapeleka watu training. Wakatoa vijana 3 kwetu, wakapeleka training ya kukata makwato. Hapo ndio tulijua kumbe punda hako na muhimu sana. Uibaji wa punda, zamani kukwako kunaibiwa punda. Lakini nowadays tunajengea punda hata kuliko wewe. Kwa sababu ya kuibiwa. Kwa hivyo punda ni mnyama mzuri sana, na punda nampenda. Na niko na story mingi za punda.
Hizo tutazisikia tukiendelea na haya mazungumzo leo. Asante sana. Rosemary there, speaking very passionately about this particular animal, that is the donkey. All right, and of course Benson Kibore, thank you so much for joining us. And of course you are advocating for the welfare of these particular animals, and as Rosemary has explained, there is a challenge, especially when it comes to how the donkey is treated and how it is viewed in the society. Because even for us, even speaking about this topic today, someone might be asking, okay, so donkey welfare, so what importance that does it have? So from where you sit and from your position and expertise, what do you think can be done? And when you look at the donkey welfare, how important is it for a country like Kenya?
Thank you very much, Ken. And just to echo what Mama said here today is that, and let me first declare this way, that I'm a product of donkey. All my fees, all my medical...
All right, let me interrupt you a bit. We just talked to Elijah, and we'll come back to you. Elijah, Brook East Africa, of course, you're doing something for the donkeys within the East African region, and trying to make sure that at least Kenya is involved in making sure that at least we are doing the best for this particular animal. So, as Brook East Africa, what are some of the measures that you are really putting in place so that this is not just something that we are just talking about, but is something that is really, really, really focused on?
Sure. Thanks, Ken, once again, and just to celebrate our partners like Farming Systems that Dr. will be talking about. But to give a background for Brook, East Africa, we are working in 5 of our East Africa countries. Kenya, of course, being our head office, but we are working in Tanzania, we are working in South Sudan, Somaliland, parts of Uganda, and we work very, very closely with all stakeholders in livestock, because I mean the donkey had been left out of that sphere of livestock for many, many years. And so in addition to our partners who we work with on the ground, with the likes of Rosemary, to educate the public and make sure that there is that sustainable change of mind and attitude towards this animal, as you will hear Mama talking about the value, the socio-economic value. We believe that all the stakeholders that are concerned here really need to put their resources into safeguarding of this resource, because this is a huge socio-economic resource that God gave us. And so we are working closely with the government. Actually, all the governments in these countries have talked about to develop policies that make sure that the donkey is included. Actually, for us, we talk about working equines. And working equines include the donkey, it's a family, the donkey, the horses, and the mules. But you will realize in our region, we don't have mules.
Of course.
We have donkeys largely, but we also have horses in some areas. In Kenya, you will not talk about horses working. But in South Sudan, we have a lot of horses that are used for work, as well as Sudan. So in those countries, we include both donkeys and horses. And making sure that it's work, because it's a working animal. When you have a working animal, you need to take better care, actually. We have dairy animals which you give, the right feed for production. Now, for working equines, we need to invest in the right welfare, treatment when it requires. Because this animal is working, the farmers will tell you it will get injured in the process. Itatibiwa na nani? It has been left out. You will find veterinary institutions, especially even in this country of ours. The only one vet institution that has been there, Dr. Kibori will talk about, there was no training about donkeys in the curriculum. So we are bringing this home. We are introducing the right curriculum together with the government and these training institutions.
Yes.
So that we safeguard and make sure that the conversation is anchored in something for posterity.
All right. Elijah, thank you for that. And now let's go back to Benson. We're speaking about what importance this will have if it's taken seriously, if the donkey is taken seriously as it is supposed to, like any other animal, like the cows that we have, like the poultry that we have. If the donkey is taken care of, what will this add into the Kenya's economy?
Thank you very much, Ken. And let me begin to say that I'm a product of donkeys. And essentially, why I'm here today, why I'm seated here today is because of the effort and the energy that the donkey actually put in. I come from a slopey village of Elgeyo Marakwet, where there is total inaccessibility of roads. And so that means all my medical bills, all my school fees are all a product of donkey. So what I would say is that donkeys actually are the powerhouse of households. These are actually green energy, clean energy, that is providing to homes, powering incomes, powering job creation, powering our economy. Because when you get those milk to the market, when you get those vegetables to the market, essentially, if you look at the quantification of the role and the input of a donkey is just too huge in our economy. So the donkey plays a very critical role in not just sustaining household income, but also sustaining the national income. So in a way, they contribute to the national gross domestic product of our country. Now, let me delve in now to say that as they are doing this, and as earlier adduced, is that at some point, probably we didn't pay a lot of attention to these working equines. We didn't give that critical attention until somewhere when there was a red flag to say, hey, remember as a country in 1998, we saw as if we had so much donkeys in the countries. And so as government of Kenya opened up the slaughter of donkeys and making it as a food animal in the year 1998. But it didn't bother us a lot. It didn't, because it was majorly a communal type of response, because a lot of it is that the Turkana people largely as a culture ate the donkeys. But wait a minute, beyond and the rise of China, and the rise of industries, the industrialization aspect now brought is all these other dimension of donkey. And so in around 2014, 15, then as a declaration that donkey was a food animal, then there were now the establishment of slaughterhouses for donkeys. But it only took 2 years to drive the numbers of donkeys from more than 2 million to just all to 1 million. And so it meant that, that particular enabler of household income was getting decimated, was getting extinct. And so that was why, together with the partners, farming system, Brook, supported by Brook, and the farmers themselves, they came out to say, no, you can't take away much more of our donkeys, much more of our enablers of our families, because it was rendering them, they used to fetch water, they used to transport milk, fetch firewood from the forest and all those. So that aspect in 2016-17 drove the element of donkey theft, because now from that level, people were looking at donkey skin, basically. And so that donkey skin was being used to power industries in China for the production of some of these beauty products, a product called AGL. So that led to another catastrophe. Yeah, and now in 2019, that actually led to government imposing a ban on the slaughterhouse. Now, that history alone meant that because the industries in China were being continuously looking for the products. So what did it happen? That government has closed down. So the next level now was these people with specific economic interests now trying to see how they can now get the skin of donkeys. And now this gave rise to the donkey bush slaughter. So what is happening now, and which we are today want to discuss a lot, is how to combat this, because this donkey bush slaughter is happening at the very element and a very risk of us, because once the skin goes, the meat remains. That meat that remains is what now gets to your dinner. And you know what? The first thing is, this meat is not inspected. And I can tell you, Ken, a single a consignment of donkey meat is just enough to bring down Nairobi because of diseases such as brucellosis and you know, that can actually have people get sick here, which can cause enormous stretch on our public health system. So that is why we are in this together, because it is critical not just for the welfare of donkey, but for the public health interest. So that we can be able to protect this animal.
All right, Kibore, thank you so much for that. Rosemary.
Yes.
Bwana Kibore amezungumzia the challenges yenye iko when it comes to donkey and how to manage donkey even as a farmer. And ulikuwa umetuambia that farmers in your region mmekuja pamoja, wale ambao mnashughulikia maneno ya punda, mmekuja pamoja, mmejiweka in an association where you make sure that at least mnaendeleza ukuzaji wa mnyama huu na mnaendeleza, you're making sure that they are safe. So how are you working with different government organizations within or different organizations hapo Nakuru? How are you working with them in order for you to make sure that mnaendeleza the security of mnyama huu ambaye anaitwa punda?
Asante. Wa kwanza siku ile farming system walikuja, samani tu kujua punda inatengenezwa, kuna dawa za punda. Sasa kama ingegonjeka kinonda, tulikuwa nafanya yetu, nachukua jifu na imwagiria alafu naitibu. Lakini siku ile farming system ilikuja, walitushikanisha na watu wa agriculture na watu na madaktari wa agriculture, na wakati baka tuna namba zao. Hata saa hizi ikigonjeka unapiga huko simu, wanakuja wanaitengeneza. Ikifunjika au igonjeke, wanakuja wanatengeneza hiyo kinonda. Kwa hivyo hao ndio walituonesha njia. Second, walienda kwa chief na wakaenda kwa DC, wakatukushikanisha. Sasa hata tukiripoti polisi, wanakuwa active kukuja na kufuata punda. But si ati ni kwa sababu ni si tulijua. Ni farming system walikuja wakatuambia the light of tufuate hii punda ndio ifanye nini, isaidike. Kwa sababu hata zamani tulikuwa na wacha inagonjeka inakufa. Lakini siku hizi tunaitaka madaktari na wanakuja wanaitengeneza. Na hata ikiumia mtu akikata punda yako unamripoti na anashikwa. Kwa hivyo tuna work na government sasa.
Alright, Elijah, now what Rosemary is talking about, I believe it might not be happening everywhere, because for her, she's saying this particular organization came in and it put them together. They went to the chief. Now they are in contact with the police people and also working with the county government. So in other areas, it might be different. No one maybe has access to such organizations, or they can't get even to the county government. So what do you think needs to happen in order for this security? Because as Kibore has brought it out, there is a hunt for this.
Yes.
People want to sell the skin, the hides, and make sure they get to a different place in order for them to get money.
Sure.
So going forward, what do you think needs to happen in order for at least, because also there are articles that have come out where you find our donkeys are being slaughtered in neighboring countries,
Yes.
in order for people to evade being caught or being arrested. Yes.
Sure, as you have said, Ken, I mean, we are not in all areas in the manner we would want to be.
Yes.
Kama mahali kufikia, sehemu zote za nchi. Kenya, for example, resources, of course, never enough, but tuna cover about 22 counties at the moment. And those are the counties we have really looked and seen the numbers, the numbers of donkeys guides us to where we work. And when we get there, we go to the county government. Remember, the animal welfare is a devolved function in Kenya. The function ya county government. We have somebody called County Director of Veterinary Service. We have the County Director of Livestock. These are the people we are working very, very closely with. To say, hii uhamasisho tunafanya with the organizations like Farming Systems Kenya, and in Kenya we have other 9 of them of this caliber, is we have just a short time and limited resources. But when the county government is passing they are doing the CDIP, can you make sure you include the donkey welfare in it? It's an advocacy agenda we have. It's a policy agenda we are driving together with our partners, but also from the national government supporting us. To say, because utakuta kuna provision ya vaccination program for all the other livestock, except for donkey. They are not included in vaccination campaigns, deworming campaigns. These are very, very simple things that can be done alongside the other livestock production processes, So, na vile unasema ni ukweli, the fight we have at hand of the bush slaughter, and we thank the government that they were able to see the sense and our push in 2020 to ban the trade. Lakini mushroom imeingia kwa the illegal part of it. Actually, the criminal part of it. So we have done a lot of conversation with the government, especially in Kenya now, because it's where it's driving. And this phenomena came up in last year from April, is when we saw a huge surge of this. We visited Deya one time, and it was like a shakahola of donkeys. Misoga, we counted thousands of carcasses, and we said, no, wait a minute, something has been going on.
Yes.
And so we have woken up the government to say, there's something here. We have talked with the Ministry of Interior, because it's a criminal aspect. The Ministry of Livestock also has come in, and that's why we are talking about a rapid response initiative.
Yes.
That the government is rolling out in the whole country, all the 47 counties, actually. But we have mapped where these criminals are really hiding, because they are in a few pockets.
Yes.
So that is one way. We are also working with our counterparts in Tanzania, because there is a surge also of donkeys coming from Tanzania, actually. It's the other way. It's them bringing them to Kenya.
Okay.
Kwa sababu Tanzania washafunga. And they are very, very serious about it. We have worked with the Tanzania government. They are very serious with the ban there. They also declared the ban 2021.
Okay.
But sasa puda zao zimeanza kuingia kwa kichaka ya Kenya. So it's even an intra-country issue. I mean, by something that is affecting different countries, in the context. So just to mention that we are working with the Africa Union on this matter for a continental ban, and I think we'll talk about it a little bit further.
All right.
Yes.
Elijah, thank you for that. Let me bring Dr. Bore. Paint us a picture. When Rosemary is talking about what the donkey is doing and helping her to do, one donkey, what economic value does it have to a farmer? And now that the slaughtering is continuing, what is the effect of that to the economy? So just paint us a picture.
Thank you, Ken. Let me just break it down this way, that you have a donkey in Nyandarua carrying milk, and this is on a donkey cart. So you have a farmer doing a collection, taking it to a cooperative. So one donkey taking about 300 liters. So you can just quantify to see this is almost over 20,000 shillings that a donkey does a day. On return, if a farmer is hiring that particular donkey out, then you have it being paid about 500 shillings a day. So in short, that is the element of contribution directly in terms of the household economy. Now, when we have now these vices going on, and I think it's prudent that, as Aleja has put, is that it's not just within Kenya, but it is an East African region thing. But also critically is because also that through our African Heads of State Summit, is that they've seen the kind of transboundary nature of this particular vice, and now you're having it now as an African Union decision. Because they said Africa cannot power Chinese industries as we lose the genetics, as we drive the population of donkeys to extinction, as we continuously expose our population to unsafe meat. And we are talking about the rise in cases of zoonotic diseases. We are talking about the rise in cases of cancer and all this. So at this level, we cannot actually afford to sit back and watch the animals get extinct at this level. So what is sort of now happening is through the partnership with the Brook, through the partnership with the national government, we are now able to underscore the role of donkey in household income. That's the first scenario. We're now rolling out, and just to ensure that we together, partners, Brook and farmers, you've heard from the house's mouth, I am that person who, I'm saying I'm a product of donkey. So this is very real for me. So we're rolling out this activity to ensure that we nip this particular vice at the bud. Over the last 2 weeks, over the last 1 month alone, we've saved about over 200 donkeys from the precipice of the slaughter in Kedong. And the beauty about it is we've now known and we are getting information about the merchants. You can remember we had a story around Moya 2 weeks ago. People are now hiring their vehicles, high-end vehicles, a V8 vehicle to just ferry meat. To come and poison people of Nairobi here, because this is meat that is not inspected at all. So you are having, and sorry, at first I talked about brucellosis. No, I'm talking about anthrax. Just one case of donkey having anthrax is enough to make you know to come to work tomorrow.
Yes.
It's enough really to stop services here in Nairobi. So what are we saying here? We are in this fight because essentially, one, to protect the genetics of the country, to protect the household income, and to be able to ensure that it is sustained, but at the same time ensure that the public health system is impenetrable. That means at every point of you trying to get a meat, you should not fear eating meat in the city just because of some few elements. And that is why together with the national government, we are in this campaign. Unfortunately, the national government has responded with actually instituting a rapid result initiative to ensure that we have this vice. We have mama here being comfortable with our donkey, not to lock our donkey in the bedroom, sleeping with the donkey in the bedroom just because of the fear of the donkey getting stolen and slaughtered.
All right, Bore, let me just hold you right there. We need to go for a short break, but we'll be back and we'll continue with this particular conversation. All right, now as we get into our Farmer of the Day section, did you know that donkeys are quite intelligent as well as curious? Now they have excellent problem-solving skills and can remember places and other donkeys they met up to 25 years ago. All right, so this is what we are going to be looking at on our segment today on Farmer's Guide.
Urimi wa bunda ukoragwo wi mwega na njira eno thiini wa guku gwitu ta Mwea thiini wa
Here in Mwea, donkeys play a very important role in rice farming and fetching water. We are therefore asking the government to end donkey slaughter for good.
Ni turamera takono matuiguire tha tarimi kana ta Wanjiku mamathuraga mamahuragira kura makamathura marihinge kithinjiro getha bunda itigatuike cia guthinjo.
We are at pain and we have to shelter our donkeys to protect them from theft.
Gutuika ati sirota ni cia hingoro tondu bunda ikoragwo inagoro na ni cia gona reti nene muno.
Kwenye naomba serikali watuangalilia hapo. Juu sasa huyo msee anakuja kumada donke yako, hiyo ni mtu ana future yako. Na si kama vijana ujue sawa nikipata kaa yangu imemandwa alafu nikupate wewe. Bro unajua ni kama kuniua unaniua. Sasa hapo utaona haitakuwa noma. So serikali hizo mavitu hizo mabucha kataa kabisa.
Nikiongelea kwa niaba ya madaktari wenzangu vile
subscription yako uwe connected. Guswa hisia na drama na telenovela freshi, movie kali, documentaries, mziki na lifestyle channel. Changamka na Star Times. Let's get ready to download Star Times on app kwa burudani kemkem wakati wowote popote ulipo. Star Times, furahia maisha kidijitali.
This May, the power of mentorship ignites dreams across Elgeyo Marakwet. Join us for the 5th edition of Mentorathon, where seasoned professionals, dynamic brands, and visionary entrepreneurs converge to inspire the next generation. From Kaptagat to Sambirir, watch as we unlock potential and shape futures at 7 prestigious schools, including Singora Girls and Tambach Boys. Be part of the transformative journey. Mentorathon, 30th to 31st May 2024, where mentors and dreams meet. Mentorathon. Empower, inspire, transform. When you subscribe to the Nairobian Extra or TNX Online, everything is TNX rated. Compelling gossip becomes irresistible online. Enchanting travel becomes exotic online. Trend-setting fashion becomes mesmerizing online. Fascinating celebrities become sensational online. Intriguing scandal becomes outrageous online. The Nairobian Extra or TNX Online is much better than X-rated. It's TNX rated. Subscribe to TNX Online, www.tnx.africa, and enjoy TNX rated everything live. TNX, nothing stays hidden.
Can you name foods made from potatoes?
You can make potato crisps, the one that we call French fries. You can make out of the potatoes. You can also cook food using the potatoes.
Today we're going to be learning about potatoes. When I grow up, I would love to be a farmer because a farmer has more and better food to eat than other people in the country.
Concentration is the game, keep the rhythm if you can. Welcome to Musa Gitao Primary School.
Subscription yako uwe connected. Guswa hisia na drama na telenovela freshi, movie kali, documentaries, mziki na lifestyle channel. Changamka na Star Times. Let's get ready to download Star Times on app kwa burudani kemkem wakati wowote popote ulipo. Star Times, furahia maisha kidijitali.
pamoja na tukue pamoja. Kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
All right, welcome back. We are still here, and on today's Farm Guide, just last year, remarks by the Agriculture CS Mithika Linturi at a meeting in Baringo to reintroduce the slaughter of donkeys alarmed donkey owners and welfare organizations. Now, Titus Sigala, chairman of the Alliance of Donkey Welfare Organization in Kenya, ADWOC, said that they reject any plans to reopen slaughterhouses as a means of job creation, as it will impoverish the youth and communities that depend on donkeys. And only 2 weeks ago, police, together with residents of Kaminji village in Mwea sub-county, found over 30 carcasses of donkeys that was due to be transported to Nairobi. Infuriated residents of Kaminji torched a vehicle used by the suspects, but their attempts to burn another were thwarted by local authorities.
I'm very happy mimi nimesikia mambo kama hayo, sababu kama hawa watu wanaweza kuchukua punda whether ni inachinjwa hapa inatumwa China, si tuwawekee punda wakule tu export food tupate foreign currency ya kutoka kwa punda ama namna gani?
Walikuja wakasema wahitaki punda tena, lakini ilikuwa imeandika vijana wengi sana. Lakini unangawa hata sisi tulikuwa tunakataa ikianza kufika. Wakati iliajiri vijana wetu kazi tukanyamaza na tukakubali. So utaenda fanya ukarabati uone hiyo punda vile itafanywa.
According to ADWOC, over a span of 3 years between 2016 and 2018, 4 donkey abattoirs located in Nakuru, Baringo, Turkana and Machakos counties decimated over 300,000 of the country's donkeys population, accounting for 15.4%. The annual mean rate of donkeys slaughtered, 5.1%, was 5 times higher than the annual donkey population growth rate of 1.04%.
These businessmen are coming with very nice looking proposals about donkey slaughter and branding around statistics that are not correct, that have not been that will only benefit themselves. So with them, they are also mobilizing people to come and say what they were saying, like in Baringo. So we sense a hint of politics in that, because the minister said he will look for facts, and hopefully that's what he's going to do, and that is what in our statement we have urged him. The facts on the ground are different. The businessmen, as they go along the road, they will tell the minister that there are many donkeys that are roaming around, or they will even tell him that we will only slaughter sick and old donkeys.
The alliance also insists that this will bring about an increase in donkey theft, since owners do not want to sell.
Wakati walikuwa wamefungua mwaka wa 2020, walikuwa wananunua punda kwa 15,000, na mwenye punda mwenyewe akitumia punda wake analeta pesa yake ambayo inaingia kwa mwezi 11,000, na ukiangalia ukilinganisha hiyo maneno, so unaona ya kwamba mtu akiuza punda yake ni kama kupoteza ajira.
They further insist that the burden of the work done by donkeys will befall women in the rural areas, and are urging the president to intervene this decision.
Mtungi moja shilingi 50. Haya, ukiletewa mtungi 8 juu mtungi 8 basi ndio itakutosha kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni. Hiyo unatumia miangapi? 400. Unaona hiyo ni hasara, kwa sababu na punda wakiniendea hakuna hasara hapo, juu ataniletea faida ile 200 na itakuwa imenisaidia. Kwa hivyo bado tu mimi ninasema tutaandamana, tutajua hii Nairobi, hata kama hatujui tutakuja sisi Nairobi, tukuje baka hata tukijua njia ya kwenda kwa Ruto tutaenda.
Punda nyumbani tunamuona kama mama wa pili kwa mboma, na sisi usema ni mama wa pili kwa mboma. Juu kazi ile inafanywa ni punda, ni ile tu inafanywa na mama.
So we urge the minister, don't close the tap. That is the donkey which provides water for the household. Don't kill the livelihood of the smallholder farmers who use the donkey to support agriculture. Save our women, save our children.
According to a 2019 research conducted by the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization, KALRO, on the status of the donkey slaughter in Kenya and its implication on community livelihoods, the donkey population in Kenya has plummeted from 1.9 million in the 2009 census to 1.1 million in the 2019 census.
10 days after the world observed the World Donkey Day to celebrate the invaluable contributions donkeys have in communities countrywide, there was shock in Mwea East, Kirinyaga County, after residents found 7 suspects loading suspected donkey meat into vehicles ready for shipment to Nairobi. Kirwara Sub-Location Assistant Chief Zakaria Mushiri says the suspects were found slaughtering 30 donkeys meant for popular Bama market in Nairobi.
Usiku huu wa leo tumekuwa na kizaza na tukapata ya kwamba kulikuwa na wizi ulikuwa unaendelea wa kuchinja punda, na kwa saa hii tumepata punda 30 tayari wamechinjwa, na tumekamata magari 2, moja ni Probox na hiyo ingine ni Mitsubishi aina ya Pajero.
Security officers had a rough time protecting 4 suspects from being lynched by the angry mob. One of the suspects said they sell the stolen donkey meat at Bama Market in Nairobi after being paid 10,000 shillings for work done. 3 suspects managed to flee. Samuel Magu, a village elder, said the suspects were slaughtering the donkey while naked. He said one suspect surrendered, but the others jumped into River Sagana. Sentiments shared by Stephen Karanja, who has said the arrest will help deal with increased cases of slaughtering donkeys.
Mfanyikazi anatuuza hii area, anaitwa John wa Githomo. Na sasa yeye naye tumemshika, hata amepatiana urubaro iko pale chini. Ndio tumestuka, tumekuwa tukikula nyama za punda, maana sasa vile hata hii nyama imenona, huwezi hata ukagundua ni ya punda ama ni ya ng'ombe.
The 4 suspects have been locked up at Kemashiri police station for further interrogation. They will be arraigned on Monday.
All right, that story there, or those stories, just giving us a glimpse of what is happening in our country when it comes to donkey welfare and also the threats into this particular kind of farming. And Dr. Bore, I'll start with you. When you look at such stories and when you look at what is happening, it seems there are people who don't, they are really being, they're allowed to do this. So let me get your sentiments.
I think what we've seen is actually a very sad situation, very horrific situation. And what I would say, a serious risk to public health. You know, we exist, veterinary practitioners exist to protect the public health. And so when you see such kind of a situation, it is really worrying. Number one, take home is, I love the way the population has just noticed that it is about their health. What is being done about donkeys and the theft of donkeys is about their health. So I want to urge all the residents of the country to just know that a slaughter of a donkey is as dangerous as getting the infection, because you never know. That meat has a potential to hit your plate without you knowing. And should you have a breakdown in terms of contamination, in terms of spores, for example, for anthrax, then you are the next victim. So what I'm getting from there is people are getting infuriated. They don't want to be statistics. You know, this is the other danger, that, you know, you allow this kind of vice, it means that they are next to being a statistic. And that is why the people are coming up to say it's enough. And that's the message. The other thing I would want also to say is that you've seen the iron vehicles that are involved. It means it's a protected kind of business. And this is why we are calling on government today, really, that what we need is answers. Who is this person who wants to drive our donkeys to extinction? Also to the side of our professionals, it is actually, when you look at the movement permit that you are using as a country, donkey is not listed as part of the animals to be moved for either for farming or for slaughter. So our professional, that's why the Union of Veterinary Practitioners here comes in very strongly. And we have actually told our veterinary practitioners, it is illegal to cause movement of donkey because it is not included in the accounting documents of the country. And that is why we are looking at steps of how to bring this down, because it is not, and it is not proper to ensure for people to consume uninspected meat. We are also looking at a way of how, of how Parliament can be able to fast track the passage of several legislations that are aimed to protect the donkey. Part of it is the Animal Welfare Bill 2019, because it's been lying there in Parliament without much progress. And this is the reason why it is critical. We are looking at this from 3 prongs. 1, the household income. 2, the the public health level. And number 3, the population, because we cannot, and I said, we cannot drive our genetics to extinction at the expense of powering an industry that we have no shareholding at all. So that is why, as for example, Farming Systems, working with Brooke, is that we are able now to dissect and look across to ensure that we bring this madness to a stop.
All right. Dr. Kibore, they are saying the madness needs to stop. All right. So, Rosemary,
yes.
Ukiona video kama what we've seen, the videos that we've seen today, the stories that we've seen, punda zinachinjwa, zinawekwa kwa magari they're taken somewhere. What does that emotion, unafeel aje ukiona kitu kama hiyo?
Acha nikuambie, ukiona nyama kama hizo na uone watu wakichafanya hivyo, unafeel vibaya sana. Kwa sababu unajua already mtu wa chini wamemmaliza. Alafu unarudi unaona wale wanafanya kitendo hizo ni watu wako na pesa. Kwa sababu surely hizo punda wale wanatumia wana gari. Ndio maana wanatumia nini? Punda kupeleka mizigo yao sokoni, kukondeza hizo, lakini wanakuja wanamaliza. Kwa hivyo maskini atakuwa maskini. Na hawa wanajijenga. Serikali inataka iangalie hawa watu. Kwa sababu surely mtoto wa maskini hata soma. Mtoto wa yule kijana anapeleka hiyo punda hata pata chakula jioni. Atakanja. Na ule tajiri bado anaenda kuuza hizo nyama wapi? Nairobi. Na still anauzia watoto wale wako Nairobi. Na hiyo punda ijaangalio na health. Kwa hivyo hatujui kama iko na ugonjwa au kama haina ugonjwa. Kwa hivyo tunaona ni vibaya, tuna feel bad.
Still, acha nikuulize, unajua tukianza this particular interview tulikuwa ulituambia that punda yako 2018 iliibiwa.
Imagine.
Iliibiwa usiku, iliibiwa mchana. Hebu tupatie that story na vile ni nini ilifanyika?
Ilikuwa kwa hivi, kulikuwa kunanyesha. Na nilikuwa, by the way, hata ikubiwa punda yangu peke yangu. Nilikuwa kuna punda 4. Nilikuwa kuna shamba. Nimekomboa pahari. Sasa nilikuwa na ngoa carrot. Hizo punda zilikuwa na chota maji zikuja yoshe carrot. Ndio ipate kuenda. Usiku tukachelewa sana kwa shamba. Nikafungia punda na ng'ombe. Tulikuwa tumechoka. After that kuamka kitu saa 6 hivi tukukuta punda, tukukuta ng'ombe.
Saa 6 ya usiku.
Saa 6 ya usiku. Waliiba baka za niba. Waliiba punda 4 yangu na watu 3. Waliiba saa 6 ya usiku na tu kuipata.
So hiyo wakati after imeibiwa, mulienda kwa chief, mulienda wapi ndio?
Tuliripoti baka polisi. But wakati huo polisi walikuwa natuliza punda ni nini sasa? Tutaitoa wapi? Tunaweza jua punda yako na ya mwingine ni gani? Hata wakukuwa na interest ya kuifuata wakati huo.
Okay. Sawa. Sasa after hiyo incident vile ili happen, mkaenda mkareport. Sasa kutoka hiyo wakati na mmeletwa pamoja kama kikundi. Huwa unaweka punda zako aje? Bado huwa zinalala kwenye zilikuwa zinalala?
Hapana. siku hizi punda karibu ulale naye kwa kitanda. Surely unaifungia na una lock na
vile daktari Kibora alikuwa anasema unaweka
karibu hata ukipinduka hivi kwa kitanda unaiguza. Unaifungia kabisa na unailock. Asubuhi unaifungulia na unaifagilia kwa sababu sasa pahali iko ni permanent. Si ati hivyo tulikuwa naiweka hivyo. Sasa ukiweka hivyo utaikuta surely itakuwa imeenda.
Alright. Sasa Elijah.
Yes.
Ukisikia story kama hiyo and there's something that you had mentioned that the initiative that you're coming up with. So what are these new initiatives that are going to really help? Sasa ukiona Rosemary anasema anafungia punda yake, like hawezi acha ilale nje kwa sababu you don't know what will happen to the donkey. So what are you doing in order to at least help move this particular narrative to make sure that at least farmers feel safe and with their animals?
Thanks, Calvin. And the first thing is the farmer himself to, kwa sababu ni kama gari yako. Unajua pia ukiacha gari hapo nje na hauna garage, sasa itakujua tu au battery itatolewa tu.
Yes.
So we are telling farmers, please, this is your asset. Take care of it. Whatever it takes, then we can deal with the criminal element. Because wengine pia wanafuja. Just the way the criminals come and break in.
Yes.
And this is now where the government comes in. And we are happy, actually, to say we have made the cries of the communities have reached the government. And I was, the Interior Ministry, the Livestock Ministry, coming together and saying, let's deal with this criminal activity decisively. That is where we want to insist on. Because they have no reprieve except reporting. Na hii kesi kama hii ya Mwea, I'm telling you, there were so many obese. Already cases reported after cases. Na ndio sasa wananchi wameamua kuchukua mikono, sheria kwa mikono. Yeah, do we want to be getting this? Why are those, there are some of the security officers who are compromised. We are saying that blatantly because it is the way it is.
Yes.
And so the government needs to be very firm on this. There are elements within the security system who are also part of this game. And that's why we have cases of, wrenching the vehicles. We don't want to continue with that way of dealing with this situation. So we hope the RRI will be civil but firm to deal with this criminal. They are known, they are few. And is what sasa Rosemary amesema ni mabwenyenye wako na pesa, sasa wanahonga their way out.
Right.
So that is what we are saying.
Elijah,
yes,
we need to wind up.
Sure.
So I just need to get your final words kutoka kwa Rosemary, pia tuambie yake ya mwisho, and then we'll finish with Dr. Boris. So let's go.
Asante sana Nyakudi and for inviting us. So the message really we have from today's show is let's really be a country that is guided by the rule of law. But let's remember the words of Mahatma Gandhi, who said, you will tell the morality or the moral standing of any society by the way they treat their animals. That needs to ring a bell in us.
Okay.
Why are we treating our animals this way? It reflects on our social moral fabric. And so even as we say, farmers, take care of your animals, including the donkeys, our clarion call at this moment is let's eliminate this vice that is there so that we can talk of our donkeys for posterity into generations. And we hope that our society will continue being rebuilt. The countries you have seen with agrarian revolution, where they are, these countries that are very have progressed, it was out of what we are seeing with our donkeys removing our people from poverty.
All right. Thank you so much, Elijah, for that. Rosemary?
Yangu ya mwisho ni kusema ni asanti Nikudi kwa sababu ya kutuita hapa, na niseme hivi, punda wachungwe na hizo zichinjio wanachinja zifungwe, na kila nyama ikienda kuingia pahali serikali inakagua hizo magari, surely umaskini itakuwa mingi wakimaliza punda. Kwa sababu punda wazaagi haraka hivyo. Kwa hivyo wakiendelea kuchinja hivyo itaisha. Na watu watakuwa maskini tu, kwa sababu sasa tutarudia ile kazi ya kubeba na mgongo. Na sijui kama watoto wetu wataweza.
Asante sana Rosemary for
Thank
that.
you.
Asante sana. And finally, Dr. Bore Kibore. Sorry.
Thank you, Nyakundi. I think 2 weeks ago when we arrested donkeys, is that after the donkeys had gotten into a police station, there was what we call from above that actually caused the release of the donkey from a police station. I mean, that is unacceptable. It is the height of corruption and that has permeated our systems. And we are kindly asking government, because we are resolute, we are determined in actually ensuring that this vice is brought to an end. As professionals, as farming systems, as Brooke, as working with the multi-agency team, we are very ready. And I think it's just time to advise those people in this business that your time is up. Your time is up. We must protect the public from the nonsense they're doing and giving them what you call an unsafe meat. We must protect the generation and the genetics of the donkeys, so that our children will be able to see a donkey that Jesus walked down from to Jerusalem from. So for us, it is a question of call to order. We are also saying that county governments must now get back to ordering and developing a document that facilitates the movement of donkeys. Because what is there now is an illegal document, because it does not have donkeys in it, but they have been using to fetch money, to fetch a revenue from it. So it's an illegality that we are sort of considering going to court to ensure that this madness and this thing is stopped at that particular level. Why we are here today is basically to ask the Kenyan people that this is a fight. You must be with us.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Benson Kibore right there, Elijah from Brooke, East Africa, and our very own Rosemary. Thank you so much. Asanteni sana kwa kuja. We've come to the end of this particular discussion where we were talking about the welfare of donkeys. What are you doing to your donkey back at home in order for you to make sure that they are safe and secure? All right. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi. Stick around. Don't go too far. We have more for you from the rest of the programs that we have planned today.
Pamoja na